Hi guys, welcome to SJ Tutor YouTube channel. I'm Anton and today we will take a look at 5 important tips and tricks which can make your work easier in Microsoft Excel. So let's get on with it. So here we are. So as an example here I have taken a small example uh, from a dataset which is called Fisher-Harris dataset. Now the dataset is not important, but the tools and the tips which we are going to demonstrate within this tutorial will be really interesting for you. Now first and foremost, okay, if you are a person who is working in Excel for some time, or if you do not have any experience in Excel but you do have some experience in handling or dealing with data, you must have come across a certain point in your life where you have to get the transpose of a certain dataset. Now, even though if you don't know the term transpose, you might want to change the columns into rows and the rows into columns. So our first trick for the day is to exactly do that. We are going to look at how we can turn or how to transpose our data. Now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to select out the data set where you need the transpose of. So for an example, now I'm going to select this set of data which will be transposed when I am done with it. Okay, so now as you can see, now in 3 columns I have 4 rows of data. So line by line I have it in an orderly manner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this certain data and I'm going to pick a place. I'm going to pick A17 cell, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to paste, and in the options, in the pop-up options, I have this selection called paste special. Now when I click on it, I'll get this small selection box. In that, I'm going to check this option called transpose. Once I check it, I don't need to change any of these things. You can just keep them as it is and then press OK. Now what I have here is a data set which has 4 columns and 3 rows of data. It's the exact transpose of what we had here. Now, isn't that really amazing? Isn't that a really useful trick for you to learn when you're handling with data? Okay, so that's our first trick. So let's move on to the second one. Okay, as our second trick of the day, we will be looking at how to filter out data within a table in Excel. Now, how can you use random filters to get some of the most important details inside of a data table in Excel? Now, have it in mind, you can insert filtered data into a data set or to a table by using a lot of methodologies now, but I'm going to show you a quick and easy way, a trick for you to get some filters to sort out your data. Now what you have to do is, in your ribbon, in the groups, you will find a group called data. Now inside that data you have this filter option. Once you press on this filter option, now as you can see, all of the filters available for this certain data table included in this Excel worksheet will appear in front of you. Now what I can do is I can use these filters to filter out data according to my need. Now suppose that I just need to know about the widths and the lengths of the variety Setosa. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this drop down menu, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select Setosa only. Now I'm going to deselect Versicolor and Virginica. Now what happens is, now I'll be able to see only the data which was included in sample which is included in Setosa. But keep in mind, the other data has not deleted. It's always there. But the thing is, the data is now filtered out. So let's move on to the third trick of the day. So for the third trick of the day, we will look at how we can divide a string of characters. Okay, here we have a list of emails. Now what I want to do is I want to get the usernames out of the email extensions, which means I want to separate. If we take this email for an example, I want to separate 123 from @gmail.com extension. So how can I do that? Now you can just go ahead and cut and paste all of these emails, but that's not what we are going to do today. We are going to look at an option which is available for us in the data section or in our ribbon. Now in that data section we have the data tools. In that data tools there's a section called text and text to columns. Once you press on it, once you click on it, you will be presented with a small pop-up window where it says delimited and fixed width. Now for this demonstration we will be going on with the delimited, but shortly I'll show you how to use fixed length as well. Now what you need to do is select delimited and then press next. Once you press next, in the usual manner, now in the default manner, what you will have is something like that. Okay, but in this selection, what you need to do is you need to check the other box, and you might not have this @ symbol there. What you need to do is you need to add this @ symbol. Now once you add this @ symbol, what it does is it separates the string from the place where the special character is located. So the special character is not going to be included inside of the other column. So that's exactly what we need. We need to separate the user from the extension. So then what we can do is we can press next, and then we can give the new columns a column value. So we will be keeping these as regular texts, and then we will go on with next. We'll finish this off now. As you guys can see, now our email addresses are separated into two columns, where in one we have the usernames and in the other we have our extensions. Okay, so that's about it for the third trick of the day. Now let's move on to the fourth one. Now if you're a person like me who is dealing with data all day long, you might have come across a scenario where you have missed a column, or you might have gone over a column and inserted a new one in its place. So suppose that you need to insert a column right here, or let's suppose that you need to insert 3 columns. Now a column is a simple scenario, but 3 columns, what are you going to do? Now one thing that you can do is you can cut this whole thing, move it 3 columns down and then paste it. But that's not what we are going to look today. Now I want 3 columns starting from the 10th row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 3 columns and I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say insert, and then what I'm going to select is entire rows. I'm going to insert entire rows. Now what happens now is it automatically it's going to insert 3 blank rows into the space which I have selected. So the data which was previously there has moved down by 3 columns. Now isn't that interesting? Now that's a tip or a trick that you can use on a daily basis. Now I want to show you how you can include columns as well. Now what you can do is you can select the column, and what you can do is you can right click just the same as before. You can go ahead and insert and then select the entire column. Now if you are quite familiar with, you must have known another method to do this as well. Now I'm going to show you the sub trick of this part 4. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to select the whole column and press insert. what then happens is it moves down by a row. The same thing can be done with a column as well. You just need to select the column, the whole column, and just press insert. Okay, now that's it for the fourth trick of the day. Now let's move on to an interesting tip for the day. So the fifth and the final trick for the day. Now let me begin by explaining to you why we will be using this trick. Now, first of all, let me tell you the trick. Now, if you're a person who's using Excel quite regularly, you might know about the functions which are available in Excel. Now, even though the functions are there, in order to perform small calculations, what you can use is formulas. Now, the reason for you to use formulas instead of functions is to improve your performance and to simplify the data sheet which you have. Now, suppose that I want to add these two cells together. Now, I can use either the sum function which is available for me, okay, which needs me to write the sum and then open parentheses and then go ahead and select all of the cells which is required. Okay. So that's one thing that I could do in this scenario. But instead of doing that, what you can do is you can simply just type out C14 plus D14, and then just like before, you will have the same answer. But this method is really quick. Now remember, if you are doing small calculations, you need to use formulas instead of functions because they are really quick and really easy. So that's about it for the video, guys. Thank you for joining with us. Now, if you would like to know more about these types of things, now we do have a course dedicated to information technology in SJ Tutor. So thank you for joining with us. Hope to see you on another video. Bye, guys.